Again, this definition continues, and the proviso part very clearly says if payments made by the employer to the employee under clauses A to I. We saw that there are exclusion part, there are A to K, 11 clauses we saw there, but the total sum from when it is calculated from A to I, if that exceeds one half, which means if it goes beyond 50% of the total remuneration, then that cannot go beyond. If it goes beyond that, then that excess would also be automatically treated as wages. That is what is mentioned here in the proviso, right? To put it very simple, the second proviso, next para is provided further that for the purpose of equal wages to all genders and for the purpose of payment of wage, which means for equal remuneration and payment of wages purpose alone, the clauses B, F, G, H, that will not be considered as excluded portion, right? So we may have to include that also. Now again, I'll go back. Maybe next slide will explain what exactly could be the difficulty when we really get into implementing this particular definition. This is again mathematically I'm saying. So there are two terms. One is remuneration. Another one is wages. Right? When we say remuneration, so that should include substantive part and the inclusion part and whatever is mentioned in the exclusion part. Now wages, that is what is important for us for doing compliance. What is wages? Again, remuneration minus the exclusion part. There also, as per the proviso, it is sum of classes from ranging from A to I. Right. Now, I think so. Total remuneration, which means indirectly, it includes exclusion part also. Now, I'll go back to the previous slide. So here A to I, when we say A to I, A means it is annual bonus. C is employer's contribution towards PF or pension. And G is remuneration payable under any award or settlement. I'm not very sure should the remuneration included in the first place. Then again, the employer's contribution should be deducted to arrive at the quantum which is wages. Right? I think for working purpose there could be some difficulty. So at least once this code gets implemented, unless and otherwise there is some guideline or some instructions given very specifically, it could be difficult. Right? It could be difficult for the industries to go ahead. But let us first understand the definition of the term is getting changed. Wages, it is getting changed, and only a maximum of 50% can get excluded. So now a cap is brought about. See, the again reason being, I'm telling you, this could be reason because of us only, because there is a salary structure. The total gross monthly salary of a person is 1 lakh. Of which now basic is 10,000 and 90,000 is various allowances, right? But once the code comes, it may not be possible. So because 90,000, we cannot exclude 90% of the salary. So I think that could be one reason, because based on which I think this cap is brought about by the governments, maybe through these codes, so that only 50%, maximum 50% can get excluded for any purposes. Right, that is the idea. But let us see as we move on. I think we will get to know more about this. Now, I think this is what I said. For example, I've just brought a simple structure: basic 5,000, DNS allowance 2,000, HRA 2,000, conveyance allowance 2,000, and commission 2,000. So the total simple monthly gross I have mentioned as gross 1 as 13,000. Then PF employers contribution, it is 840. That is on basic and DA 7,000. 12% I've worked out, right? Don't bother about the working. It is more for understanding purpose only. And ESI employers contribution, it is 228. And bonus, if it is reckoned, maximum bonus 20%. If it is reckoned for a month, this comes to 1,400, right? Now come to the right side. So what is the total remuneration? Only if I know what is the total remuneration in the first place, only then I can come to know what is wage. Arrive at the wage. So what is total remuneration? Now, should I take the monthly gross 1 or monthly gross 2? What should I take? I think that clarity is needed, as I said in the beginning. So when the codes are implemented for the industries to go ahead without any compromise, I think that clarity is required. Assuming that gross 1 is meant as remuneration, that is 13,000. Then 50% of gross 1 will work out to 6,500, right? But the sum of excluded components, HRA, conveyance allowance, commission, those are all excluded. That is only 6,000, so which is less than 50%. So this is in order. I would say, as per the new definition, this structuring is proper, right? Similarly, if you take the second case, just a moment. Yeah, so 50% total gross to comes to 15,240 because we are not supposed to take the employer's contribution towards ESI. So this 228 I'm not taking. Excluding 228, I'm taking 15,240. Now 50% works out to 7,620, right? So basic and DA alone, it comes to 7,000. This 7,000 is less than 7,620. So it is less than 50%, which means the excluded portion goes beyond 50%. So the by 620 rupees, right? So this 620 will be added to automatically 7,000. So total wage will be considered as 7,620 in this case. But question is, what is remuneration? Is it going to be 13,000 or is it going to be 15,240? I think that clarity is required unless and otherwise, either by way of notification or by some executive order. If we get the clarity, I think it will be difficult for industries to go ahead. Just let us first understand. So there is a definition. There are certain clarities. I don't say no, right? But only the main point here is the exclusion portion of wages cannot go beyond 50%. That is the major change which is brought about in the definition of the term wages. And this will have definitely implications on all PF, ESI, gratuity, bonus, everything, right? Let us see when we see those areas specifically.